Taurus Sun and Rising. Welcome to your January 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here, and it's a new year. And January is Capricorn season as it is, but there's even more energy in Capricorn than you would expect. Because sometimes, I mean, even with the personal planets like Mars, think about a year ago to in January. Well, some of you probably don't know this because you're not astrologers. Mars was caught up in Gemini and was turning direct. I believe it turned direct in January, as I recall. And Gemini, during Capricorn season. And now Mars is actually going to be in Capricorn. So if you think about it and what house that represents for Taurus, that is the ninth house. I have Taurus rising, a late degree of Taurus rising. So these transits are things that I always pay attention to. Sometimes the Gemini transits are appropriate. So for you, that might be the case. I hesitate to get too far into that because I'm just going to keep this as uncomplicated as possible, talking about Taurus Sun and Rising individuals. And so, yeah, I mean, and also because of Pluto, because Pluto has gone into Aquarius, but only at 0 degrees for a couple of months in 2023, and then it went retrograde, and it's back in Capricorn, which trines the sign of Taurus. Whether it actually trines any of your placements has to do with the degree span. So that is a personal type of thing, but just in terms of the elements, there's an affinity there because Earth is what you represent, as does Capricorn, and there's a very kind of like this grounded, practical energy. So for Taurus individuals, the ninth house where Capricorn resides is the house of the higher mind. And it's really the house, you could just look at it, what sign rules it? Sagittarius, which happens to be my sun sign, and I'm talking about having Taurus rising. And Sagittarius is all about expansion of the mind through either college or through any kind of more sophisticated types of learning, including philosophy and religious studies. And religion itself is ninth house. Long distance travel is a big one with the ninth house. So some of you, because Mars has been delayed, you may have been really wanting to go on some kind of a trip and it never happened. And this could be the time when it really does. So things could be lining up, in other words, for that. On the first of the month, Mercury turns direct at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. So for Taurus individuals, this is falling in your 8th house. Another thing to note, because I'm recording this in mid-December, is that Mercury went retrograde in Capricorn. So Mercury began in that 9th house and it went back into the 8th house. The 8th and 9th houses have something, you could say there's a connection there. First of all, they're both connected to spirituality. But the 8th house is also connected to other people's money in the form of loans and things of that nature. So if you have been trying to get funding so that you can get some kind of training of a spiritual nature, maybe as a yoga teacher, that might be something that has been, it has to be looked at again because maybe it fell through or there was a problem with an application, because Mercury might be paperwork. But anything along those lines, the 8th house does have a connection to the occult and just, what we would call the hidden mysteries of the universe, or the secrets of the universe, but it's a money house, and it's other people's money, and it's loans and things like that. So student loans, okay, and ninth house is university. So sometimes people go to college in January um, for the winter semester, and maybe some of you are doing that, and there's some kind of thing that is messed up that has to be resolved. Luckily, Mercury goes direct on the first of the month of January, so by the time your school starts, you may have everything ironed out. But you may be thinking about, some of you may be thinking about like religion versus spirituality. That could be a big one. Remember that we're coming off of a holiday season, and some people have been really influenced by their family of origin and the type of religion that they were raised in, but maybe they find that it doesn't work for them as they get older. And I mean, for some people, it might work out perfectly. So I'm not saying that that would be true across the board, but this may be the result of that, and you're rethinking it. You may be getting into things that are more of an esoteric nature rather than kind of like and I think for Taurus people, organized religion is something that would be something that you would take to very well, because it has that kind of clear cut, like these are the do's, these are the don'ts. This is, the things that these are the rituals, these are, and there's more of an open-ended quality with spirituality that some people may find off-putting, because it's kind of, something that you create for yourself. It's an more individualistic path. But yeah, so Mercury goes direct, and things should start to, get back up to speed. Mercury does take, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks to come out of its shadow. But at least it's direct, so that's good. On the 4th, Mars goes into Capricorn. So here we have one of those planets. Now, we already have the Sun in that ninth house. Mars is there. And then on the 11th, which is a week later, we have a new moon at 20 degrees of Capricorn. So there is definitely something going on that is connected to Taurus people and expansion. And remember, too, that you have Uranus in your sign. You also have Jupiter in Taurus. So that Jupiter is a ruler of the ninth. So there's a little bit of mutual reception in a sense. Well, I don't know. No, it's not mutual reception because it's in Capricorn. But there's this expansion that Taurus people are kind of finding themselves opening up to, as well as kind of being a little bit offbeat with Uranus and wanting freedom with both of those planets. So the ninth house is about freedom, since it's ruled by Jupiter. And it's also lucky. Can't forget about that. So these matters, Mars in the ninth house, can make somebody very like wanderlust, like you just want to just take off and, see the world, explore the world. It's also, the ninth house, along with the 7th house, is connected to the law. So there might be something going on. I would even say, too, with Mercury going back into the 8th house, there could be something with a will, or, like an inheritance or something that maybe you're even researching it. And you want to find out what's going on so that you can get your fair share. That new moon on the 11th can be some kind of new venture. Maybe you're going to college for the first time. Maybe you're you're going to travel to a certain country for the first time. On the 13th, Mercury goes back into Capricorn. See? So there's more. But wait, there's more energy in that ninth house. So, yeah, I mean, Pluto is there. And Pluto in the ninth house can create this transformative experience as it pertains to some kind of religious practice or spiritual practice, or even going to a country that just changes your life. Now, how does a country change your life? I can't tell you, but for instance, even like the spiritual part of things, that can certainly be something that you never expected to happen, and then it does, and you're just so, inspired or something. On the 20th, the Sun and Pluto both go into Aquarius, which happens to be your 10th house. But this isn't a perfect example of when let me briefly mention my chart. I told you I have a late degree Taurus rising. And my midheaven is probably like 3 degrees of Aquarius. Or I don't know if it's 3 or 4 degrees. Probably maybe 4. I think it's 3. So in 2023, Pluto never got beyond 0 degrees in some minutes of Aquarius. It's very slow moving. In 2024, it's not going to go into that 10th house. So it's not automatically going to go into every Taurus rising person's 10th house. Or if you're looking at the solar chart for the Sun in Taurus. So just keep that in mind, because these are general forecasts. But I can say that it's going to eventually get there. So you're going to still experience these things, but it might be delayed. And in this case, this is an angular house. It's supposed to be a very important house, the 10th house of career and your reputation. This could be delayed for a year or even 2 for some of you, maybe more, I don't know, but for me, it's probably going to be a couple of years. So just keep that in mind. But let's just talk about it being in the 10th. And on the same day, which I think is very interesting, because the Sun in the 10th house gives you that leadership vibe. If you're looking for a job, this is a really good time, because you're going to come across as authoritative. It's interesting. The 10th house is the house of authority figures. But, being an authoritarian isn't really desirable, because that's kind of like dictatorial. But being an authority means being an expert in something. And if somebody who's looking for a job, who's kind of coming across like a Capricorn, because Capricorn rules this house, they may impress higher ups, which the 10th house represents too. On the 23rd, Venus goes into Capricorn. There you go, more 9th house energy. Venus can bring money, harmony. For some people, there might be some romantic interest from another country, another culture, I'm sure people know the difference between nationality and ethnicity, right? I mean, somebody could be born in the UK and they could be Jamaican ethnicity. But they can also say that they're English, obviously, because that's where they were born. But they have the ethnicity, the cultural background from their parents of Jamaica. So you could be attracted to, kind of like emotionally or romantically connected to somebody from another culture, another race, or nationality, and that might be what is inspiring you to want to travel. This can also be anything to do with, money that is connected to travel or connected to going to school, going to college. So again, remember what I was saying about Mercury in that eighth house and ninth house. That might have led to this. Maybe you get that loan, that student loan. On the 25th, we have a full moon at 5 degrees of Leo. Leo is a fellow fixed sign. And this is going to be in your home and family sector, this full moon. So this could be letting go of something, maybe moving, maybe just on the emotional level, saying, so like, because Taurus is a fixed sign, even if you want to move, maybe you want to move to a foreign country, you may have an attachment, or just simply are very, it's hard for you to make changes. So this full moon can help you to let go of things. Maybe you don't do things right now. Maybe you do it in August when there's a new moon here over the summer. But this could be like letting go of that tight grip over where you live. It can be some understanding of something from childhood. That's what the full moon can bring as well. On the 27th, there is Uranus going direct in your sign. It's in 19 degrees, so those of you who have your sun or ascendant around that 19-degree mark, I mean, it can go either way. So if we just, I mean, there are different schools of thought about how much distance to give. Let's just say 5 degrees in each direction. So from 14 to 24 degrees of Taurus, you may be feeling this the most, but this can make you feel more settled, even though you are very you may be very rebellious right now, and things that typically I feel like you might be a little bit more on edge. Uranus rules the nervous system, I think, and it may there's a connection between electricity and Uranus, the Kundalini, and all of that. So there might even be a spiritual type of awakening, but it may have physical symptoms that are a little bit disruptive. So it's so important to calm the nervous system. I don't know much about this, but the vagus nerve and all of that, there's stuff on YouTube, even like singing bowls and things that you can listen to for sound therapy that might help to soothe you at this time. All right, that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that this resonated. And if you would like a private reading, if you would like to look at 2024, and you also want your natal chart analyzed, I do have a package deal called my deep dive reading, an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for $85.85 US dollars for at least 2-hour reading. And I have those readings separately, standalone readings. I also have that package deal with a full-length tarot reading called the Whole Enchilada as a separate package deal. And I just have, career readings, love readings, and things like that. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.